especially to win the Artist of the Year Billboard Music Awards 2000 here in
can be miscommunicated, especially just in the English language.
It's really hard, especially with all the stimulus.
Especially you!
This should be fun, especially if we're gonna be in.
Especially when they need to be a hero, you know, I think.
Again and again by the same, especially bad
in the real world, especially in this line of work.
Especially your mom.
Dorothea, Annette Bening's character. It's
compelling stories, especially in a time full of rich media. It's especially popular in countries that make up a majority.
Hey, jokes, especially from a gay broke bitch yourself. Hey, Lo.
Especially cowboys.
American?
Yeah, New York.
Tonight. Especially escorts.
I'm really sorry.
Especially when I tell them about your other thefts.
Like when you're on the amphetamine or something.
Swing dancing.
Food, especially stinky food like these stinky fishes.
Being here tonight, especially my family.
So is this what you had to tell?
Strawberries are difficult, especially in a greenhouse.
For them.
Dickon was especially fond of the hedgehogs and the...
This will be safe for us all, especially after that horrible event.
Especially how much people are talking about boyhood.
Better once it's painted, especially the bedroom.
The courthouse has been specially built for this trial.
Especially in the middle of the standoff. I shouldn't be. Especially an officer of the law who just took the oath. You can't even.
Chicks dig nerds, especially nerds that are into Lord of the Rings.
A moment for them, especially because most of these kids, you know.
Musical chops, especially Ansel, Kevin Spacey,
Jamie.
Last condition. Miss Peterson stays out of this.
Bad place to be.
No, especially when you consider it came after Iron
Person when that happened.
Especially since they built.
Because especially this festival, which is about.
Perceived especially by her boyfriend is obvious. Button is especially interesting, for Button's basic necessity is to dramatically cure her, becomes especially poetic when she shoves it in her mouth.
Private between us, especially not your wife.
You know what I love? Especially after a long night on the bus.
All must be upheld, especially while it's being broken.
Last match is officially closed.
Especially 40s Hollywood. That was a really exciting part of it too.
Doing, especially for the last few years, has been.
Especially in a wartime situation. And then
Yeah, especially in these times where green screen is just...
There wasn't a dry eye in the house, especially mine. Your aunt.
Such great role models, especially for young women and foreign films especially need that help. And all of the other contenders, especially in the foreign film category. And I really encourage, especially horror fans out there, to definitely watch, especially now, like Singing in the... Think about how humans are especially cruel to others.
Especially, you know, you get into like the dream world.
Surprising.
Well,
like, huge snub, especially in the visual effects department.
I think, especially in Django Unchained.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have been saying.
Surprising.
Well,
like, huge snub, especially in the visual effects department.
I think, especially in Django Unchained.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have been saying.
his last two films, especially coming off fresh of Fast and the Furious.
Back, especially, yeah.
Here's the rest of the scene.
Things. But I guess that one especially.
Well, it's a great.
Stop cheating! Stop lying! And especially stop...
To friends a lot, especially in the outside circle of Austin.
I wanted to tell, especially because they had been his rival.
Next 3 years of work, especially once Daniel came in.
A specific quality, especially in such a complex man, but
Isolation, especially, which are all common things for addicts. But
The school paper staff, especially Dash. Any harm done to...
and especially gamers.
we are pretty hot, aren't we? I mean, Isle Man, British Virgin Islands, they're the branch offices.
Better jokes, especially if we go, here's a joke!
Especially of digital set extensions and computer graphics.
Another comes in, weaves in, yeah. And especially because it doesn't.
Who's gonna pull it out? What am I supposed to do?
especially the favorites, because the first name I came across was...
To have someone like that, especially at this point where he's at.
Fantastic cast, and especially, to Lizzie, who carries the film. I work very, very closely, especially bringing these ideas.
Especially to have crazies running around dressed as
that. Especially after all the shit you just told me.
Especially when it is said that yours is the face of truth.
Very good guy, and especially the two of us have some uncomfortable.
And I think it's especially gratifying for me to watch Bennett.
Especially with all the awards that it won. Now,
in Mexico, especially about how there were 6,000
Like, is it supposed to be real? Do other people see him?
Victor Laszlo is on that plane.
Here tonight, we would especially like to welcome all the representatives of the
both feminists, Hispanics, and especially Democrats.
Everybody has a lot of time, especially me, but a lot of time, especially me, but.
Carol is just explaining that.
I always learn from the people that I work with. I mean, especially when you're in this kind of company.
It's gonna be sexy, and especially in a movie, she has to look
so easy to sleep at night. Especially when we know
the same, especially badly dressed student, and I...
That you'd especially like to meet.
No.
Way, especially in their helmets.
Especially Matt, because we have a lot of things up.
Especially for the premiere.
So our idea right from the beginning.
Especially on a big effects movie like this. We're still...
Sometimes, especially wearing huge...
Icing on the cake, especially when you see all these incredible...
The whole movie, and the book especially, is Katniss keeps on...
No yelling, no hysteria, especially with your grandpa not here.
Especially if you're limping.
Wait, limping? Can't you just time...
Power of Christ!
Especially being a PK. Pastor's kid. She's Alan's...
Especially for Anna. Perhaps we'll work together again in a few...
Crazy. Especially because she's probably stronger than all the Cullens, but...
Control the thing. And especially the batteries, which are the expensive.
She's very afraid of people, and especially big boats.
Especially when you're doing one shot for the whole scene.
Careful, especially with a nut job on the loose.
No way.
Hey kids, stay in school.
Especially you. Especially know not to cat me is about that shit.
Especially if that someone looks like you.
Voraciously, and he read especially about military history.
Murder rule, especially with Flemmy by his side.
Difficult to act with, especially when you're doing fight bits.
Well, especially in this movie where we're
out for each other, especially when Smurfette and her friend.
Oh, me especially, and there's nothing stopping us.